The number one optimization strategy that people have shared when they come on this podcast, time and time again, where the biggest leverage is in one place on Amazon.
Welcome to the Ecomm Breakthrough Podcast. Are you ready to unlock the full potential and growth in your business? You've already crossed 7 figures in sales, but the challenge is knowing how to take your business to the next level. Join Josh Hadley, an 8-figure Ecom business owner and investor, as he interviews highly successful business owners. Get ready, because you're going to learn specific actions you can take today to help your business reach its full potential and leave a lasting impact on the world.
Welcome to the Ecomm Breakthrough Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Hadley, where I interview the top business leaders in e-commerce. Past guests include Kevin King, Michael E. Gerber, author of The E-Myth, and Brandon Young from Seller Systems. Today, I am speaking with Ben Matthew, and we're going to be talking about how you can scale your e-commerce business using AI agents without needing to hire more staff. He's got a super wicked smart AI software that he's going to be sharing, how he's able to do this. It maybe even can you run your business with one person and a whole bunch of AI agents to get to 100 million. That's a topic we'll save for another day, but that's the vision behind this. This episode is brought to you by Ecomm Breakthrough, where I specialize in investing in and scaling 7-figure e-commerce brands to 8 figures and beyond. If you or someone you know is ready to scale or looking for a coach or a consultant to really help them scale, reach out to me directly at josh@ecommbreakthrough.com. That's Ecom with 2 M's, and let's turn your dreams into reality. Today, I am super excited to introduce you all to Ben Matthew. Ben is one of the co-founders and the CEO of Superfuel. He is passionate about e-commerce entrepreneurs and their aspirations, and he is excited about bringing the advancements of AI to help e-commerce sellers scale in ways that they never thought possible. So with that introduction, welcome to the show, Ben.
Thank you so much, Josh, for having me. Super excited to be here. Like I was saying, I've been a student of your podcast. I've heard a lot of people who come here speak about different things, and that has helped us in our previous business selling on Amazon as well as for things that we do today. So super excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, Ben, it's always awesome to have a listener on the show and somebody that kind of knows the process and the flow that we go through. And now you're on the hot seat. You know that in each of my interviews, I want actionable advice for 7-figure, 8-figure sellers and things that they can actually implement in their e-commerce brands to allow them to scale to the next level. So you're on the hot seat. I'm going to be grilling you today, especially as we dive into your software, Superfuel AI, which, you know, you've showed me some brief glimpses of it. And so far, I've been very, very impressed. So for the listeners that are going to be listening to this, I'm not currently using Superfuel. I am going to be asking the same questions you would probably be asking Ben here, because I'm genuinely considering whether this may be the right tool to allow my team, as we continue to grow our catalog. We have 1,600 SKUs now. That's only advancing every single month we release new products. And so the constraint is needing to hire more staff to be able to manage all of the new products that are being put out. And so I'm interested to seeing, hey, does this save me from having to hire any additional staff? And I can have my senior leaders that are overseeing my Amazon sales channel utilize this tool to be able to do the work that was needing to be done by a lot of VAs or optimization team members, et cetera. So that's the frame of mindset that we're going to be using today. But Ben, why don't you walk us through your background? Because I think it's important to highlight that you've been an Amazon seller and then you saw this opportunity that you've transitioned into Superfuel. So why don't you share your experience there and background with the audience?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I'm one of the co-founders at Superfuel, and we're a team we are a team of co-founders and engineers. We are software engineers and product managers. We started off about 4 years back, directly selling on Amazon. We were running an acceleration business, helping brands successful in one country launch from zero and scale to a large size or bestsellers in their respective categories. So we did that for about 2.5 years. we built a lot of automation for ourselves internally because we were software engineers. And then early last year, and slightly before that, we saw a lot of opportunity in AI-based agents. So we saw this a lot in the software engineering space, and we saw that just like how junior software engineers are being built as AI agents, we saw a similar opportunity in doing that for e-commerce. Every e-commerce seller will have a bunch of AI agents that can do a lot of the tasks that we used to do. And we used to do a little inefficiently, not do it with as much of efficiency as we need to. We felt that we saw the opportunity where AI agents could do this for e-commerce sellers. So that's how we started. So we are a company also backed by venture capital fund called Accel. They are based in Silicon Valley. They were one of the early investors in Facebook, Dropbox, Spotify. So we raised about $2.6 million in funding from them. Along with them, in partnership with them, we are able to think very long term, focus on deep innovation that can really help sellers create more value for themselves using AI. So our job and mission right now is to simplify AI for folks like you, for example, at Hadley Designs, being able to use AI on a day-to-day basis using AI agents and take up a lot of the day-to-day tasks to be done by this AI agent. So yeah, so that's quick background about ourselves. And we work with brands of different sizes, mostly ranging from $300, those who sell between $300,000 a month to about $15 million a month. So those are the type of customers that we work with. So yeah, so that's quick background about us.
Awesome. I love it. So you're hitting those 7-figure entrepreneurs and the 8-figure entrepreneurs and those looking to scale, past 100 million. So Ben, this is awesome. So why don't you share a little bit of background about Superfuel itself? So what is Superfuel? Let's talk about what these agents can actually do. I want to get into the real meat and potatoes and dive in and say like, all right, this could actually save my team time or allow them to do 10x the work that they're currently doing with the same amount of time right now.
Yeah, sounds good. So let me just share I'll pull up my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
We've got it. So those that are just listening to this, make sure that you come check this thing out on YouTube, because this one's going to be very visual today, obviously, as we dive into this tool and it sifts through all the data and it's sharing different insights. So we'll try to speak about it as well as we can if you're listening via audio, but definitely come check us out and subscribe on YouTube.
Yes, definitely. Cool. So what we're building at Superfuel, Josh, is we're building an AI agent that does a lot of the day-to-day tasks for Amazon sellers. Now, this AI agent is trained with some domain knowledge on things such as how to reduce wasteful ad spends, how to improve organic rank, how to scan and study a competitor listings. And based on this, it gives action recommendations that you can take. Now, just like how you interact with an employee, you can give it your own inputs and your own set of preferences, based on which it will change the output that it is giving or recommendation that it is giving. And 80-90% of the output can be executed via Superfuel itself, by this agent, right? So some of the tasks that it can do today, so these are some sample tasks, but in total there are about 15 to 16 tasks, some of which we'll run through in this podcast. And you can also create your own set of tasks by working with us. So some sample tasks are for any ASIN that we have. This agent will go and find top selling competitors. And for those competitors, it can analyze the images of these competitors and compare it with our images to find out what is missing in our images, right? Second thing it can do is this agent has access to Keep our APIs, through which it can look at the past pricing trend, past BSR trend for these competitors. And from that, recommend what kind of discounts are helping your competitors get better BSR, improved BSR, and recommend that for your brand. It can identify keywords it has access to Jungle Scout APIs, through which it can access keywords that are doing really well for competitors in terms of ranking. It can look at the search volume data. It can look at where are we missing out on ranking for these keywords and find these keywords and insert them into, rewrite bullet points, titles with these keywords, and even launch campaigns in the format that you typically launch new campaigns whenever you discover keywords for which competitors are ranking, but you are not running any targeting, right? So these are some sample tasks. So now I'll straight away jump into the product itself to show what it looks like. So this is the homepage of the agent, where you would see a bunch of different tasks that this agent typically performs. There are about 15 to 16 tasks. As soon as any seller account is connected, these tasks start getting activated, and if within 24 to 48 hours, you would start seeing the agent give you a recommendation for all of these actions, right? And none of these execute by themselves. So all of these, just like how a new employee would join you, it will show you the work first, and then you would basically give feedback and then maybe approve after that, right? So I'll run you through a few. We'll go through a few examples together. So this task, what it does is, like I said, it will look at competitors listing images and find out what is really missing in our images, right? So let's just
Ben,
look at
my first question on this is, how does it know who my competitors are? And is that something that my team has to upload and say, hey, here's my product, right? Well, you're connected to my API, so you know my products, but do you then need to say, like, these I believe are my true competitors? Because yes, there can be like 30 different listings on page number 1. That doesn't necessarily mean that all of them are my direct competitors. So how's it deciding who my competitors are? And guess what? Some of my competitors I don't even want to pay attention to because I think they're bad competitors, right? Like, I only care about the top ones. So how does it take that into consideration?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the agent does that through two processes. First, what it would do is it will look at your category node in which your ASIN is existing today. It will go to that node. It will collect information of all the 100 bestsellers that it sees there. So when I say collect information, it will collect the product title, description, pricing. And once it has collected this information, it will compare it with our product. It will compare our features with our price, and also look at the BSR range as well, so that we can find relevant competitors. And from that, it will shortlist 10 competitors. That is for one process that it follows. Second process is where it will identify keywords that are most relevant to your product from your PPC data. And for about 3 to 4 keywords, it will go to Amazon go to Amazon console, look at the search results, look at what are the products showing up in the first 50 or 60 organic rank, right? And again, it will collect the information of those products, product description, pricing. Using LLM, again, compare it with our product, and then find the most relevant 10 competitors from that, right? But as a seller, you may also want to change the competitors that it has found. So once the agent puts together the list of competitors, you can also edit that list.
Okay. So I can come in here, and if for whatever reason the AI is not picking up a specific competitor, or they're in a different browse node as an example, right? I could make sure that I list them in here.
Correct.
And like, Ben, as you talk about optimizing these images, is it only focusing on what it believes are like the top 10 most relevant, or is this going through hundreds of competitors?
Yeah. So right now, what it does is what a human being would do, a team member would do, which is go through 10. I mean, you can define this to you can ask the agent to look at 10 competitors or 30 competitors. That's a number that you can decide. But whatever is a number that you decide is the task that it does.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So I'll just show you what the output looks like. So, for example, this is a sample product that we have, which is like a cloth napkin product. Now, for this product, the agent has gone and found top 10 most relevant competitors, analyze their images, not just their images, but also the customer reviews, to find out what do customers really value in those products, right? And for that, and after analyzing the images, it has found a couple of different types of insights here, and I'll run you through 2-3 of them. So for example, here in the main image, so if you see, this is the main image that we have, and this is the main image some of the competitors have, right? So after looking at the competitor images, what the agent is mentioning is that we should basically update the main image to show napkins in a style table setting, such as folded with a napkin ring or placed on a plate with cutlery, similar to competitor images. This will help customers visualize the product size, color, and decorative potential, right? So if you see these images, actually agent hallucinated and picked a not so great image here, but in other cases it still picked something that is much better visually as a main image compared to what we have, right? This is one type of example. Another type of example with this ASIN is that we don't have many lifestyle images. So here it is basically it is found from customer reviews. It's found that the customers basically use them for creative arrangements. They use them for different occasions like parties, weddings, banquets, and identified those in competitor images. And suggestions that agent is giving here is to include a wider variety of real life usage scenarios, show the napkins being used by people wiping the mouth, holding the napkin, as well as style for different events like weddings, parties, banquets, etc. Incorporate decorative folding techniques and props to inspire customers and demonstrate versatility, right? So that is what it is found from the top selling competitors, their images, lifestyle images, what specifically are they showing? It's highlighting that and asking us to consider these as images, right? Another type of example here it is found is infographic images, what to cover in infographic images. So it's found from customer reviews that customers frequently mention issues with wrinkling after washing and the need for ironing, as well as concerns about color accuracy and stain resistance. So what the suggestion that it is giving after studying competitor images is update the infographic image to explicitly showcase key features such as wrinkle resistance, stain resistance, and color accuracy using clear icons and concise text, right? Consider you including a visual comparison of demonstration, example before and after washing, color swatches, or a stain test. So if you look at, I think the text is too small to read here, but if you look at the text, that is stain and wrinkle resistant is mentioned here. Perfect finishing look is mentioned here. So these are competitors that have identified these customer needs and highlighted these in their images, right?
And it's reading the reviews and the FAQ section of the listing, and it's basically recommending, hey, people are having issues with this. Maybe talk about how you can resolve that in the images.
Correct. So right now the agent, or at least the default set of process that we've given the agent is to look at the reviews and find out what is really important for customers, right? And then try to look at our competitors doing that really well in their images. So try to find correlation between those and then tell us what we should do. Typically, like how you or I, if you're selling and we want to improve our conversion, we are doing certain things with images, and that's something similar to what we would do. If you additionally want the agent to look at Q&A, you can ask the agent to do that as well.
Okay, right? Love it.
Yeah. So this is one type of task. I'll run you through a few other tasks as well on what it does. Maybe I'll just switch my tab to show you how it can write bullet points using competitor ranking keywords. So
Ben, I think before we transition over there to the keywords, I think that I'm already visualizing how vital that first task would really be for the creative director on my team to be able to just get new ideas, right? Like I see AI as I don't know that it's going to replace people per se. It's going to replace data entry people that were just gathering the facts and presenting things to you. I think it replaces those.
Right.
But it's not going to replace the strategic thinkers. And what I envision here is my creative director is going to take that tool, it's going to run that task, and it's going to look at all the suggestions. It's not going to follow it exactly, but it's going to get those, and it's going to be like, ooh, that's a really good idea. Ooh, I haven't considered that. Ooh, I really like the way that competitor is doing this. That gives me this idea. So I see it as being able to 10x the idea generation and move a lot faster in this process. You don't have to have somebody go spend 24 hours or a full week scraping listings, finding this, compiling a report to then present it to the creative director for then the creative director to just, provide additional feedback. This is it's just there. It's laid out perfectly there. So I think that's super powerful. And the number one thing too, Ben, is I would make sure you feature this in your software is the number one optimization strategy that people have shared when they come on this podcast time and time again, where the biggest leverage is in one place on Amazon, and it's the main image. Main image optimization is everything on Amazon. And I want to share this analogy, which is this. For YouTubers like Mr. Beast or Diary of a CEO, okay? All of those guys, as I've learned about their businesses, guess what I've learned what their number one thing is? Their number one thing is not, hey, how do I think of the next greatest video to put out? Guess what their biggest thing that they are focused on? That is the thumbnail image, period. They test hundreds. Let me repeat that. Hundreds of thumbnail images even before they launch the video. So likewise, I think for us as Amazon sellers, like we should be taking that away and saying, hey, like, how much am I testing my main images? Am I actually focused on that? Because that is the end all be all on Amazon. You've got to stand out in the search results. And then it's the rest of the listings job to convert people. But as Amazon focuses on AI, that visual aspect is going to become more and more and more important. So
right, absolutely, completely agree with you. That's a great point. Yeah. So here what it is doing, so here what the agent is doing is it is basically rewriting bullet points using competitor ranking keywords. So now similar to the same task before, where it is looking at what are the competitors that are most relevant for us. Once the competitors are identified, agent is accessing Jungle Scout.
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you here. Is this something that like I set up my competitors once in kind of like here's my ASIN, here's my competitors like feature on your tool, and then for all of these related tasks, like it's now programmed to run these tasks, or do I have to set up the competitors for each of these tasks individually?
No, so all these competitors are pre-configured for all of the ASINs, and for any task that you do at an ASIN level, which includes some amount of competitor research, maybe it is pricing, maybe what are the new variants launched by competitors, or what changes have they done to their images or A+. So all of that, it will always go back to the competitors that are configured. And not just that, competitor landscape keeps changing every few months, right? So the agent can every month go and check for new competitors and then tell you these are the new ones that I've found. And then you can decide to add some or reject some. And you can add that to your existing configured competitors for an ASIN level.
Love it. Love it. All right. Very cool. All right. So this tool is now looking at the competitor keywords. All right. So what is it found here?
So what it has done is for the competitor that is found, it has went and gone ahead. It has looked at Jungle Scout APIs to find all the keywords for which competitors are indexing on, ranking well on, but we are not ranking well on. And for that, this is the current bullet points. It has rewritten these bullet points with these keywords included, new keywords. Hand stick for safety, 613 search volume. Stick for walking support, 3,399 search volume. Or old age stick for women, 1,206 search volume. So it has included all these keywords, rewritten this. You can also edit this if you want. You can accept some changes, reject some changes. And once you click on approve changes here, it will directly make this new listing live on Amazon.
So I can edit this like in real time right here on this side. Like if I'm like, actually, I don't like that word, better stick or hand stick for safety, right? Like I could take that out and add a different keyword if I wanted to, or something like that.
Correct, exactly.
And then it updates everything in the back end of Amazon for me. I don't even need to have a VA that goes in and adjusts that.
Yeah, you don't need to. So this will update it. One more thing that we need to add though is, right now it's not live, is go to the front end and then monitor is the listing live or not, right? So that is something that we're just adding now, where it will go to the front end after 24 hours and check whether it is live or not, because sometimes it takes up to 24 hours sometimes to update the listing. It will go to the front end, check, and again it will re-trigger the process. And if it is not getting uploaded, then it will basically show you a status update.
Fascinating. Love it.
Cool.
Love it.
Yeah, so this is one time. Maybe I'll just run you through one more thing that it does to rewrite the content by looking at your PPC data. So let me just pull out this task. So what this task does is it looks at all the keywords that are doing really well in your PPC. And again, it goes back to Jungle Scout to see whether these are high volume keywords or not. So here it is found, for example, Easter napkins. I mean, this is a seasonal keyword. So it's come up in the last, let's say, 2 to 3 weeks, right? So it's come up and it's identified those keywords, which is doing well in our PPC and recommending including them. Spring napkins, reusable napkins as example, right? So it will, again, you can edit this or you can approve them directly here and it will make this live, right? Maybe I'll just pull out one more example. So yeah, here what you can see is our product is actually a light blue colored product. So it's picked up specific keywords that are color specific that are doing well in our PPC. And then it is including those as well in the title and
how does it handle variations?
Yeah, so each ASIN is considered by this agent as a independent product. So for each ASIN, it will do the job, the right quality and amount of job required to research and find out what is really right for this ASIN. and it will fetch those insights around keywords to be included, things like that. But there are also some of our customers who don't want to make changes in their color or size variations. They just want to replicate the parent ASIN. So in that case, the agent task to be created is create my parent listing first. After that, replicate that for my child ASIN.
Okay. But if you have different like color variations or things like that, you would obviously have different keywords, right? Black
Correct.
napkins, gray napkins, etc.
Correct. So as long as you want to do that, the agent can do that.
Awesome.
But if you don't want the agent to do that, and for example, we have a clothing brand which has about 5,000 ASINs, and they are very particular about colors and size changes to be mentioned only at the end of the title and only in the first bullet point. So they can give those custom instructions to the agent.
That I love that. So how could I set that up? Like, do you have to manually edit that in the title, right? Is that typically what's happening?
I'll just show you how that works. Maybe I'll just run you through one more example, and then I'll show you how you can give the agent those specific instructions. Maybe
Cool.
one more task that I'll just run you through is how the agent basically creates new campaigns using competitor ranking keywords, right?
Okay.
So again, it is fetching the data from Jungle Scout APIs, and then it is looking at our ads data to see, are we already running any targeting for this keyword or not. If we are not running it, then it is recommending launching campaigns, right? So for example, if you see these keywords, these are 5 keywords it identified with a reasonable amount of search volume, which competitors are ranking really well on, but we are not indexing or we are not ranking well, and we don't have any ads running with this targeting, right? And it has pulled out what the Amazon suggested bid is. Once you click on approve here, it will directly launch this campaign in this format.
Interesting. All right. So it will go ahead and create the campaign for you.
Correct.
Like, do you get so you get to choose, like, it's an exact match campaign. You get to choose the bid. How do you get to choose like up and down bid, negating keywords, things like that?
Yeah, so that's where I'll come to, where you can interact with the agent and change any process it uses. So as of now, this open workflow is where you see the exact brain and steps the agent uses. It's open up on a new tab, and I'll show this now. So these are the step-by-step process that this agent is following to run this task. And you can give in your custom instructions or customization here and submit this here, and it will change the set of process. So I'll show you what are the steps that it is using here. So like I mentioned, it is looking at bestseller lists, finding top 10 competitors similar in product and similar in pricing. Then it is using Jungle Scout API to fetch the keywords for which these competitors are ranking on. Then it is filtering for those keywords where competitors have less than 50 organic rank. Then it is filtering for 3 ASINs, at least 3 competitors are ranking for those specific keywords. Then it is finally applying a minimum search volume filter of 500, right? Once this is done, then the agent is going into our ads data. It is looking at our targeting report for the last 60 days. It is specifically looking at what keywords, these search terms where we are not running targeting ads, right? So, and then it is finally doing a relevance check, taking that keyword, using LLM to compare it with our listing to see whether this keyword is actually relevant for me or not. Competitor may be ranking, but is it still relevant for my product or not, right? Once this is done, it is just shortlisting 10 top keywords based on search volume, and then launching an exact match campaign, right? So this is where you can interact with it and give it your inputs. Let's say you want to go after even long tail keywords, right? So you can also include long tail keywords that have more than 100 search volume, right? Something like that. Or instead of exact launch broad campaigns with down only strategy, right? Down only strategy. And once you submit this here, it will change this process, right? It will change this process. Though this has domain knowledge. This agent has domain knowledge on, okay, there is an exact match, there's a broad match, there's a phrased match, there is up and down bidding strategy, there is an Amazon recommended bid. If you ask it to basically bid, set your bid as 20% lesser than Amazon suggests. So all of that it can understand, right? So it can understand, and you can change the logic that it uses. And next time when it is basically giving you recommendations here, it will give you recommendation for keywords that have more than 100 search volume as well. the campaign type will change to phrase as a, or whatever is the type that you select.
Yeah.
So like this, every agent's brain or steps that it uses for any task, you can look at here, and then you can edit and modify to exactly how you today operate, or works best for your brand.
That's pretty cool. Because you could basically, for any big brands that are using this, especially for ourselves, like we have lots of SOPs already created.
Right.
And so what we could do is basically, layer on top of your existing SOPs and say like, oh, actually, this is a good idea. We weren't doing this. So I'm going to keep that. But these are a few enhancements that we feel like we could actually make.
Correct.
So I think that's an important aspect to call out. And I think that for, let's say, younger 7-figure brands, right, that maybe don't have a full SOP playbook, I think that maybe Superfuel gets you started off on the right foot of, hey, here are some basic SOPs that have basically been crowdsourced. So, and maybe that leads me to another question, Ben, is like, as AI and software development is no joke, because like after you release something, 1 week goes by and it's probably outdated already, right? So like the pace of innovation is crazy fast. So what does the future look like for these SOPs as you learn and grow? Like, is this SOP for launching new campaigns using competitor ranking keywords? Like, will this be the same SOP for the next year? Or do you make modifications as you see how people are changing the workflow structure in the back end, and then you're like, oh yeah, like this is the new baseline for everybody? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so I would split this into two parts. One is that the SOP that we follow here, let's say to create title and bullet points, it is defined by what works on Amazon and what, let's say, experts like yourself know would work on Amazon. So the AI would not be, let's say, if you're an expert or if you know what really works for organic ranking, AI may not be ahead of you, right? So the SOPs are pretty much what, let's say, in the world of Amazon is defined. So what the agent needs to do is it needs to be aware or trained with the latest SOP so that can be executed, right? Now coming to how the agents operate, which is a more what is possible with tech kind of question. Today, what the agents can do, or as and when the agents are created, especially in the software world, what we've seen is agents start with extremely basic tasks to begin with, right? Catching errors in my code, right? That is the basic thing that they start with, or auto-complete my code. If I've written 30% of my code, complete the rest 70% of my line in the code. That's how it starts with. But what happens is with every 6 months, these AI agents have been becoming smarter and sharper in the capabilities that they have. So what that would mean here is the agent that we today is basically doing some tasks based on what you're asking it to do. Tomorrow, it can actually do something more complicated. For example, to predict how much, if you have a business plan of, let's say, $50 million for this year, so what all are the things that I can do to get to $50 million in the next 12 months? Which variants shall I launch? What improvements do I need to make on my product? What is the kind of ad strategy that I need to make? Now, this is how much inventory I should plan and things like that. What are the levers? There are 14 cost items in my P&L. Which levers should I move by how much, and what should... So those are extremely advanced thinking, problem solving, right? So that is where agents will over a period of time get to, and that is defined by how much of reasoning capability is there with these LLM models that are out in the market, how much of tools around these models are we able to build. So yeah, that entire ecosystem has to develop, and we are seeing that pace only increase. With the most advanced AI agents that we see in the market are doing a revenue of $150 million, and what they do today is very different from what they used to do before. Right now, they are a lot more advanced than what they are. But the SOPs for Amazon would be defined by what you would as of today, and that is exactly what you'll have to ask the agent to do and execute if you want the agent to follow your process. Does that answer?
Yeah, and I think ultimately, Ben, I think like the way people need to think about this is like you still need to, whether this be yourself, right? You as the Amazon expert, or if you're a bigger company and you actually have an Amazon brand manager or something like that, you need to have the creative strategist that oversees this tool. You as the creative strategist need to know like what are the best optimization strategies.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then I think like the use of these AI agents is like, you know, consider these as like the work that you would used to give to a VA no longer needs to go to a VA. And instead of waiting, like the turnaround time with like a VA might have been a week to go create this report, to showcase, to go scrape the data, fill the data, make it presentable, right?
Right.
That has now shortened that window into hours of time to where you're able to make decisions more quickly. And I think that the brands that are succeeding 5 years from now, they're able to adopt these things and they're able to move at light speed. They are going to be going 10x faster than their competitors. And I think that's the magic that sits behind this.
So I'll add one more thought to this, which is that today when we look at, let's say, what our creative director must be doing, it's broken into 3 types of work. One is what shall I do, how shall I do it, and actually doing it, right? Actually doing it and how shall I do it is pretty much 60% to 80% of their work, right? So this doing it and some part of how to do it is what AI agents will help with. The creative director would spend more and more time on what I should do and how I should do, giving instructions to the agent. So that's the future that we are heading to.
Yeah, I love that. All right, Ben, what are some other cool use cases that we haven't yet talked about that we should have?
So I'll run you through one example where it can look at the pricing analysis of top competitors or price action of top competitors and give recommendation. Although you may or may not like this output because every seller looks at price very differently depending on the category, depending on the goals, depending on the product life cycle. But what it is doing here is for an ASIN that we have, it is basically looking at what price changes or discounts that competitors run that help them improve their BSR and what duration did they run those discounts for, right? Based on that, this AI agent is giving us a recommendation on what we should do with our price, right? So what it is mentioned here is our current price is $21.99. We should have a price of $18.69 for a period of time. And it is also identified that this SKU or this ASIN has a lot of inventory. So this is good to do a price-driven sales boost. And it is recommended a duration to run this discount based on typically which time of the month competitors are running their price discount, right? So this is what it is. So this agent has access to Keepa APIs through which it can get price data, BSR changes along with that price data discount that they're running. Now you can decide how you want this agent to use that data and give you recommendations at an ASIN level, right? So like how we went through the steps that it follows, you can give it your set of recommendations.
Love that. Right. Are you able to like schedule different, like let's say I want to test my price, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that a feature that I could like plug in here and be like, look, during this week, I want to be at $19.99. During next week, I want to be at $21.99 or $20.99. And I want to see what the difference is in my conversion rate and things like that. Is that something that this could like schedule, fulfill, and even at some point be able to like analyze those results and be like, hey, your price was better at $20.99?
Yeah. So what it cannot do yet is give you, after you've run your experiments or done your changes, show you what happened after that. That's not a feature that we've built to analyze. So that's something that we have to add to this AI agent. What it can certainly do is, if you have a certain logic to decide what pricing to set for next week, what pricing to set the following week, maybe you will include some seasonal factors. Maybe you would ask the agent to look at 5 closest competitors and see how much sales do they have and how much sales do I have. If we have only 5% of market share and other sellers with similar features and pricing, or maybe slightly lower pricing are selling 10x our quantity, our sales, then you can ask it to refer to that and give you price recommend. So those kind of steps you can ask the agent to do, and it can follow those and make the price changes once you approve them here. So one thing that you would notice here is we don't take any action, or the agent does not take any action on its own. You have to basically look at this and give an approval, right? Over a period of time, you can move a lot of these to auto approval, but it can do that analysis and give you a recommendation. You can decide to approve it or not approve it. but that feature we yet to build where you can look at post-action results.
Okay. So like data analytics and drawing conclusions from the data and running the test is to be built in the future. But what you're saying is like, surely like these are, and to be honest, like we have an assistant, like their entire job is to just go make price changes for us, right? We have our schedule. What you're telling me though is like that could be fully automated. We don't like
absolutely.
We're already setting the strategy. We already know what we want to test the price at. We're just having team members go, all right, go change the price.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Very
correct. That's exactly that can be done. I think soon that aspect of being able to get the feedback back for any changes that we've done, whether it's worked or not worked, use that as a feedback to improve my next set of actions. So that's something that is something that is a part of our roadmap, but it is more complicated to do. But that it doesn't do that yet today as of now.
Okay.
Right. So I'll run you through maybe one more task where it can basically look at, we were talking about this, where it can look at keywords where you're spending money, but it is not converting. And like how a team member will find out why we're not converting, it will basically find that reason for us, right? So let me just open this here. Yeah. So here we have basically, so we have a bunch of different keywords for which we spent a certain amount of money. We've gotten clicks, but it is not converting, right? So like a team member would do, it is trying to find out why are we not converting. So let's just see what the agent has responded here. Yeah, so what it is found is that the product that we are selling or advertising here is a white colored product and not a light blue product. But the customer search term is light blue napkins cloth, right? So customer is looking for something different. We are not going to convert for this keyword, right? This is another keyword, cloth napkin set of 6, right? So here the problem is that the product that we are selling is a set of 12, but the customer is looking for set of 6, right? So this is again not relevant as a keyword for us. We spent $20 for this. So once you click on approve here, it will directly negate this keyword in the campaign, in the ad group where this is a underperforming, because we have another product that is light blue, right? So the keyword should be triggered from there and not here, right? And this is another set of analysis where the agent checks whether my product is competitive or not. For example, cloth napkin set of 6, spent $22, but not converting, 20 clicks. So it will try to find out why are we not converting. So in this case, found that the product that we are selling is a $20 product, which is priced much higher than the other search results that are between $9 to $14 in pricing, right? So for this keyword, our product is more expensive. Keyword search term Easter tablecloth. So here we spent $20. Our product lacks explicit Easter motives and is priced higher than most other products in the search results, making it uncompetitive for this keyword, right? So it is basically for wherever you're spending money, it will go and check whether these keywords are worthy to be spent or not. And then, I mean, you can individually approve them or approve all of them after reviewing them. And again, if you have, let's say, certain you want to look at least 10 minimum clicks before you evaluate these keywords, right? Then you can customize that in the steps that the agent uses.
That's awesome. Is it something that you could automate as well? Like once you get accustomed to like the recommendations, right? I think at the beginning you're like, hold on, is the AI doing the right thing? Right. What if I'm like, yeah, Ben, every time all I'm doing is like click, 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 approve, approve, approve. Correct. Is there an option down the road to where it's like, all right, no, I agree. My rule is anything with more than 10 clicks, if you see it with 0 sales over this time period, just automatically negate it. I don't even want to have to think about this anymore.
Correct. So we've, so auto approve is something that is also currently there. So if there are certain tasks you want to move it to auto approve, it can auto approve these tasks as well.
Very cool.
Right. So typically brands run this, review it and approve it for a period of time. And once they get comfortable, once they've adjusted the agent to do exactly what they want to do, then they move certain things to auto approve.
Yeah.
Right.
That's incredible. So I think what the idea is going on in my mind is like we have a dedicated PPC software to do just exactly what you're describing here. But that PPC software doesn't help me with my pricing updates. It doesn't help me with main image optimizations. So like you're building like an all-in-one tool to help an e-commerce seller really be able to scale out everything on Amazon, which is pretty incredible. Like I'm excited so far.
Yeah. So how we're looking at this right now is we're looking at specifically those tasks that, in spite of all the SaaS and automation that is there, there are great tools in the market and extremely valuable. We absolutely love what they do. But in spite of that, if team members are spending time applying their brain, doing certain manual tasks, collecting information from different places, so that those are the tasks that we are looking to automate with, because that is what AI can actually do. AI can do beyond mathematical things. It can do thinking like a team member would do. So those are the tasks that we are working on adding to this product.
Love it. Okay.
Right? So just like how you saw this keyword negation, right? I'll show you something where, you must be running targeted ads on competitors, which are these are competitor ASINs on which you're running ads but not converting, right? For example, we have this one ASIN, we spent $106 but not converting, 36 clicks, right? So the agent will, in a similar fashion, go and check the competitor's listing to see what is the problem, why are we not converting. So the product that we are advertising is a 4-inch D ring binder, whereas the competitor that we are targeting is a sheet protector, which serves a very different purpose, right?
Yeah.
So which is why even if we run targeted ads on this competitor, we may not convert, right? So that is one type of insight that it is found here. Here again, what it is found here, the product that we are advertising is a different size compared to compared to what the product that we are targeting. The customer is looking for a tabloid size product, whereas what we have is a letter size kind of product, right? Or the size is basically different. So 80-90% of the time we typically see the product does accurate results, but there are still 10% of the time where we would 10 to 15% of the time where we would see some hallucination.
Yeah.
So here is found the product that we are selling is what the one that we are targeting is a 0.8-inch 2-ring binder, whereas what we are selling is a 2.5-inch 3-ring letter size binder. So that's why we are not converting for this keyword. Okay. So apart from this, there are few more things that are organic rank basically related optimization. For example, it'll look at keywords that are important for us organic rank wise. It will monitor whether our rank is improving or not. If our ACOS is good, really low, then it will recommend a 10% bid increase, right? So here our rank is improving or can improve. Our ACOS is low than as compared to our campaign. So it is recommending increasing the bid. Similarly, if there are rank is improving, no orders, low clicks, it is recommending bid increase by a certain percentage. So all of these, again, by going to the instruction, you can ask this agent to customize or do differently.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. So yeah, those are all the major actions that I had to run you through. So the data, again, like I was saying earlier, this agent has access to data that is available via Seller Central APIs, data that is available from the shopper-facing customer website. It could be your listings, competitor listings, search results of a search term, or bestseller node, and it can collect this data over a period of time. Let's say last 3 months data, analyze month over month for you, and then Jungle Scout data to find keywords that competitors are indexing on, Keepa data to find price and BSR for competitors, and using this you can set up most kind of tasks. So right now what you see here is tasks that are pre-built that you can run, but you can customize. We work with customers to understand what tasks they want to automate, and we add those tasks to the product. And after understanding what do they spend a lot of time manually on, and that's something that we would like to do with Hadley Designs as well. And after 3 to 4 months, what you would see on the product is a ChatGPT type interface where you can interact with the agent and ask it to do whatever you want it to do. Today, you are still telling us what tasks you want us to automate, but you won't have to do that. You can directly do that on the product. You can ask the agent to analyze something and tell you, find something and tell you, or ask it to do some task and do it for you. So that is something that is expected over the next 3 to 4 months. Right now, a few other tasks that we are adding here are, one is inventory planning. Looking at how much is your sales for the last 7 days, 30 days, 90 days. How much inventory do you have in FBA right now? How much is inbound? And this agent can refer to a Google sheet that you have where you can put ASIN level lead time. And including all of this data, it can tell you how much inventory you need to dispatch to Amazon, for example. Another task that we are launching is week to week comparison of your listings. So last week versus this week, has anything in your listing changed? Title, bullets, images, ratings, price, or something else? And if your sales has dropped or conversion has dropped and some changes happened, you'll be able to see that as information. Another task that is going live is backend keyword creation. So if there are keywords that are different languages, but we can't they're ranking really well for competitors, but we can't put them in a title or bullet point. So we will collect them for backend keywords. So like that, get backend keywords from a few different sources and create those backend keywords as well. So there are a couple of tasks in the pipeline. So these are some that are coming out in the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Man, Ben, I'm genuinely excited because, like, especially as you talk about the inventory planner, like, you are hitting on all of the things that, we have to hire, like,
Right.
VAs or specialists to be able to, like, gather the data for us, present the data for us so that our leaders can make the decisions and the calls for these. And if what you're saying is true, these things can actually be automated and presented in an easy to read fashion. And then utilizing the use of AI, it's going to be able to draw faster results for me. Like, you're onto something very, very big here, Ben, that, like, if what you say can actually be true in the real world here in e-commerce, I think you have a game-changing tool that, to our audience, like, Ben's not paying me to say this. He's not a sponsor of the show. I'm not even a subscriber of his software right now. I'm genuinely looking at this being like, holy cow, as a business owner, this changes the game of who I need to hire. And to be honest with you, like, people will sometimes wear it as a badge of honor. Like, oh, I've got 50 team members, and everybody's like, oh, that's cool. Like, I think it's the exact opposite. I want to see how much revenue you're doing, how much profit you're doing. Like, revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, and how little team members you can get to do that level of profit. That's where the magic sits. And I think if this tool is all it's cracked up to be, can be that game changer to where, like, I think there is a point in time where, like, there is a one person solo wicked smart Amazon business operator that utilizing a tool like this and a bunch of AI agents, it's a solo shop, one person doing it all, $100 million brand.
Correct. Absolutely. I feel that will happen very soon. Soon in the sense, maybe 3 to 5 years. You'll certainly see that. But that transition will be gradual. Like you said, instead of 50 people, we'll soon start seeing people running $50 million brands with 5 people, 4 people. Where a lot of the routine grunt tasks, grunt analysis is done by AI agents, and where team members are spending a lot more time creatively thinking about how to do things. Instead of having to operationally manage all the tasks and the people, they would be spending more time creatively thinking about where do we generate the maximum alpha to grow the business.
Yes, 100%. My experience has been more people, more problems in the business, because humans have lots of variableness to them, right? Somebody passes away, or there's vacations, or somebody's kid is sick, they're sick. You have to manage that. It is true management. And so AI doesn't need to be babysat that way. So I'm a big fan.
Exactly.
Ben, as we wrap this up, I love to leave the audience with 3 actionable takeaways. So here are the 3 actionable takeaways that I've noted. You let me know if I'm missing something. Action item number 1, I'm going to say this. Anybody that is not adopting the use of AI into their business, you're going to be far behind. And so that leads to kind of the second action item. So number 1 is learn AI and follow the people that are talking about AI stuff. Ritu Java has a great newsletter that she puts out that's about really AI tools for e-commerce. So that's a highly recommended one. And, like, begin actually taking action to implement those AI tactics into your business. Because action item number 2 is that the speed of your growth as a brand owner is directly correlated to the number and the speed of decisions that you are making on a day-to-day basis. A lot of people just get hung up in, I've got to think this over. I've got to sleep on it. I need more data. I need to see more. I don't feel comfortable yet. Like every time you postpone a decision. Now, sometimes there's two different types of decisions. There are irreversible decisions where if you step through the wrong door, you fall off a cliff and die, right? There's no coming back from that.
Right.
But 90% of business decisions, I believe, that are made is if you open up this door and you go down the wrong path, okay, you're able to reverse course. Hey, I thought it was this one. Actually, let's go to the next door, right? And you keep going until you find the right next door.
Right.
I think those are the two different types of business or decisions. So the more quickly you can identify those decisions that they're reversible. You're like, let's go this direction. Because even if we're wrong, it doesn't blow the business up. But I got to make decisions quickly. And I think AI allows you to make those decisions quickly.
Right.
Third and final action item here is to hire smart leaders.
Absolutely.
Period. Everything that we talked about in this episode today, you could hear like, I need to have my supply chain manager utilize the inventory planning feature.
Right.
And it makes his or her job 10 times more efficient.
Right.
I need my creative director to utilize this tool to get all the ideas and all the information in one place, make decisions 10 times faster. Right. I need my Amazon brand manager to be able to execute these strategies 10 times faster. My PPC manager, 10 times faster. So guess what my organization looks like? All right, maybe it's not just one person, but maybe it is 5 to 10 people that are just wicked smart leaders in very specific roles, PPC, brand management, inventory management, supply chain. You've also got creative director.
Correct.
And those are your people. That's your core team that you go to battle with. And you've got AI agents that actually execute on those things for you. So that's the future I see. Ben, is there anything else that we didn't address or any other action items that you think we need to call out here?
No, I think, I would just add to the first point that you mentioned, specifically on e-commerce, we are in the world, which is a marketplace where the best ideas are winning, and the best ideas are in terms of efficiency to reduce price, efficiency of creating the best products, best creatives. So in the marketplace, it's even more important to be ahead in all these areas. If we were a different business where we are a monopoly, let's say in a different category, let's say building software for salon businesses, then there are very less players to compete with. But in our case, as we sell consumer products, we're in a competitive landscape. So the ones who win are the ones that you mentioned do those three things well. And that first thing, doing AI really well is going to be very important to win.
Love it. Ben, great summary here. Lightning round time. Final 3 questions. What's been the most influential book that you've read and why?
Yeah, so it's been the Everything story about Amazon. This is something I read when I was working earlier. It had been really eye-opening in the sense focusing on innovation, how to think about long-term innovative bets, focusing on execution, how you can execute a lot more than what you think. So that has been a big eye-opening book for me. I've read it a few times. I keep going back to it to learn from it.
Love it. Great recommendation. All right, question number 2, and you can't say Superfuel. What's your favorite AI tool that you've been using, or ChatGPT prompt, and why?
Yeah, so a couple of them. The most commonly that I'm using these days is I've been a non-coder, although all my other rest of the team members are software engineers. So, but it's very important for me to catch up on understanding code and how code works. So I built a GPT, which basically any code that I'm trying to like my team members exchange with each other, I posted in that GPT, and the GPT tells me what each of those items in the code is. So what do they mean? What does the code do? So I've been using that to learn what these lines of code mean.
Love it. Always super powerful to have some custom GPTs.
Yeah.
All right. Final question. Who is somebody that you admire or respect the most in the e-commerce space that other people should be following, and why?
Yeah. So in the e-commerce space, I mean, a lot of people I learned from. So one is Sean, the founder at Dude Wipes, uh, who's been focusing on building a innovative product and focusing on creatively marketing it and bring the product to the masses, and focusing on building just that one product as a decade-year-old business. So that's someone I really admire. Uh, and apart from that, in the Amazon world, there is another brand called California Design Den. They do about $100 million a year. Been in touch with the founder of that company called Deepak Mehrotra for the last 3 years now. Learned a lot from this gentleman, how he thinks about selling on Amazon, winning on Amazon. It's been pretty inspirational and eye-opening.
Was that California Design Den?
California Design Den. So you would see them among the top 3 or 4 organic rank on Amazon.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, Ben, this has been a great episode. If people want to learn more about Superfuel or learn more about you, follow your journey, where can people follow you at?
Yeah, I love catching up with folks in the ecosystem, helping where I can. I'm here because a lot of people help me. I'm available to help people who want to learn about how to use AI or other areas where I can be helpful. I'm reachable at ben@superfuel.io. That's my email address. I'm also active on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn and message me. I'll be more than happy to do that.
Awesome. Ben, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much, Josh. It was a pleasure being here. Thank you so much for hosting me and putting this together for more people to learn.
Thank you for listening. Visit EcommBreakthrough.com for more information. If you've enjoyed today's episode, the best way you can show your appreciation is by clicking the subscribe button and quickly leaving a review. See you again next time.